Okay, hey you guys, welcome back to another interview of Real Black Voices. These are my two friends, Kirsten and Kaylin McBride. We have been friends for such a long time now, all the way back to high school. So I am so excited that they are here with us today. They're going to share some of their experiences with us about growing up in this country, young Black women, especially when you're kind of growing up in a predominantly white community and the challenges that in and of itself can face. So I'll let them introduce themselves to you guys. Girls, why don't you say hi to the kids?
Okay, I'm Kirsten. I'm from the Woodlands, Texas, and I'm going to be talking about my experience.
I'm Kaylin. I'm also from the Woodlands, Texas. I'm 22 years young, and I'm excited to be talking to you guys.
Girlie was always like the little sister coming along with us, you know what I mean? And to see her now, 22 years old, Girlie, you are such a beautiful young woman. It's so nice to see you all.
Thank you.
So why don't you guys, first off, let's start out with, why don't you guys tell us kind of what your feelings are about everything that's been going on, from the murder of George Floyd to the Black Lives Matter movement and everything that we've been seeing happening in front of us?
In my opinion, I think it's just really eye-opening for everyone, because although we know that stuff like this has gone on for so long, just having the ability to see actual camera footage of these things happening, and for things to start to hit so close to home. Usually, like, we have situations going on in other states, but now we're starting to see this in our own areas where we see the issues as far as individuals like George Floyd's life being taken away from them, and the different racism that goes on amongst the people in our own community, especially growing up in the Woodlands, where it is, like you said, predominantly white. How are you feeling about it?
Honestly, I've had a lot of mixed feelings about the situation, because we do live somewhere where it's a lot of white people, and so being one of the few Black people around here is kind of like awkward, and like you wonder if people are like staring at you or like judging you because of what's going on. But at the same time, it's been really eye-opening for me, because I have two roommates who are white, and majority of my friends are also white, and so it opened up a lot of conversations that we wouldn't normally have with people. And it's just been really cool to see the growth in other people and understand what it's like to live here in the Woodlands and kind of be the odd one out.
So for those of you guys who don't know, the Woodlands is a town in Texas outside of Houston. It's my hometown, where I come from. It's inside of Montgomery County. And it's definitely an experience. I can kind of say, for anybody who kind of falls outside of, you know, upper middle class, affluent, you know, Caucasian for the most part, it can definitely be a challenge. And I think that kind of having these types of conversations is definitely eye-opening, Girlie. So why don't you tell us more about those kinds of conversations that you've been having with your friends?
So one of the conversations we had are just like kind of understanding my perspective of things, because it's easy for them to be like, oh, well, when I get pulled over, I just really don't think about it. But for them, like, it's really important for me that my car is clean. And like, when you open my glove box, the only thing that's in there is like my insurance card and like this user manual to the car, so that like nothing's ever mistaken for something wrong. And so, you know, for them, it was just like, oh, Kaylin keeps your car clean. But now I was able to have the conversation like, no, my car isn't just clean because I want it to be clean. My car is clean. So therefore, if I get pulled over for any reason, I personally won't have to fear of losing my life, because there's nothing in this car that can be mistaken as that. And even conversations of just like going to school here in the Woodlands, and like always, I know when we moved here, I was in the 4th grade. Yeah. And I was literally the only Black girl in my class. And it was like terrifying, because we came from an area where all of our cousins were there, all of our friends, and they were of color like we are. And then going to school in the Woodlands, it was just like, you just feel like you didn't fit in, and like everybody was looking at you, and you just had to figure out how you were going to navigate like this new like area. And so I don't know, my friends have been able to understand why I'm so like very cautious about the things I say, how I carry myself, because of the image that people do get from Black people. So
do you think that presenting yourself kind of in a certain manner is the way you kind of look to protect yourself in a climate like this?
oh yeah, it's definitely a way to protect myself. It's just I feel a lot more comfortable knowing that if my glove compartment opened, the only thing that would literally fall in my glove compartment is a piece of paper. Whereas, like, if anything else fell out, a hairbrush or anything like that, it can always be mistaken as something else. But a thin piece of paper, like, what am I going to do? Paper cut you?
So how do you guys feel about that in and of itself? Like, you have to present yourself in a way that's more respectable, quote unquote, in order to have your life protected. You know, I kind of think that's the whole point of the movement, and I think a lot of people have started putting the all Black Lives Matter onto it, because it's to go to show that you shouldn't have to be a quote unquote respectable looking person just for your life to matter. Like, all Black lives should matter.
Exactly, yeah.
I just think that at the end of the day, even though we feel that and we're starting to see that being spread around in our community, I think that when, per se, like a cop, like Girlie was talking about, were to pull you over, they don't think about all Black, they just see everybody as one, they see us all the same in a way. So I just feel like you do the best you can to protect yourself, and I just feel like in their eyes, at this point, all Black people are evil. We all have the same personality. We all have the same outlook on life. And so I just feel like you just do your best to continue to protect yourself and hope for the best at this point. Especially, like I said, with everything being on such a rise, I can even be in Marshalls and I'm like, oh, I feel like everyone's looking at me like, oh, how does she feel about me walking next to her? Like, it's crazy, like, to feel that way, and just walking next to a white person when I went to school with them, and I could walk past them and speak, and we'd be okay, normal. And it was normal. But now it can get uncomfortable a lot of times in public.
You're a mom to a very, very young girl who might not be able to really understand what's going on right now, but very soon will start to kind of become aware of the things going on in the world around her. What would you want her to know about this time and about the future and just, you know, growing up in the world?
Honestly, I think about this often because I want her to know the truth, and I think that it's important for her to see what actually happened. I don't think, or is continuing to happen, because I feel like when we learned about everything, it's all kind of lightened up, sugar-coated, so we don't really see until we grow up and start doing our own research to things that truly happened in, for example, like Black Wall Street. But so we don't see that, so I don't feel like we get a chance to really understand what people like even our grandparents experience with racism. And I feel like it's important for kids to know, so I want to tell her everything, but I also want to kind of protect her, because I don't want her to feel like she has to hate people or hate white people or hate police or hate anybody who doesn't look like her just because of the things that we see on these videos, things we see on the internet today. So I'm still working to find the balance in that, but as far as just I just want to make sure she's comfortable in her skin. I remind her, like, your Black is beautiful. I have her repeat that to me. I want her to know, of course, that her life matters and that she can be whoever and whatever she wants to be. I try to encourage her to just love herself, because I feel like a lot of our hurts is in self-hate, because not only does the world hate us, a lot of times in our families we don't get the support and encouragement to be ourselves and be great and love ourselves. So I just try to make sure, you know, that she loves herself. She knows that she's beautiful. She can be whatever she wants to be. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. I mean, even adding on to that, we have 2 nephews who are of color, and as they're in, it's really important to me to make sure, like, me and Kirsten and our older brother Chris is, like, making sure that we're taking roles, like executive roles in, like, different places. Like, our brother, he's at a skate shop. I'm gonna go to school to be a teacher. Kirsten's in the nursing field, and making sure that they know, like, they don't have to be at the bottom of the pit, that they can too go out and be at the top and work their way up there, because there is room for them and there is a place for them to be too. So just really just showing her our history, and encouraging her to fight for what she wants and not let anybody tell her that she can't have it.
And like Girlie said, bringing up the boys, since they are mixed with both Black and Hispanic, I think it's also important because it's a lot of, I didn't see this before, it's a lot of rivalry within between Blacks and Hispanics, but we're all people of color, we're all one. Just having them understand both of their sides are beautiful, both of their sides are great, and they can be whatever they want to be, no matter what has been portrayed on our people, you know. So so I just hope to be able to teach her without making her hate. So that's just finding a balance with that.
How do you fear for the lives of the Black men in your own life right now?
Oh, to be honest, I've lost a lot of sleep over it. Like a lot of sleep. We have 2 younger brothers, and then our older, and then my twin. It stresses me out to know when they're not with us, so to say, or they're not with somebody that's their white friends or something, that people can look at them as horrible people. And so it has definitely made me lose sleep and worry about if they're okay. And I know for our younger brothers, for them, just even walk down the street to their mailbox is something that they worry about. And it makes me sad that they fear for their lives, that a neighbor or somebody will assume that they're doing something wrong by just walking to the mailbox. And so I've lost a lot of sleep over it, honestly.
I agree. It kind of makes me sick to think about, but with my older brother, I kind of worry a little less because of his personality. He has more of a calm nature, but her twin, Kylan, his personality is more hot-headed, and so I worry more about him. I just worry that if he does get into a situation, will he be able to handle himself? Will he be able to just answer appropriately? Because unfortunately, it is an appropriate way to answer for him. It's going to be the yes, sir, yes, ma'am, no, sir, no, ma'am. And if you slip, that split, just if they feel disrespected, then you risk your life at that very moment just for saying yes instead of yes, sir. So it's just more personality when I think about how I fear for them. And a lot of my family members do have the personality that my younger brother has. So it's a lot of worry, it's okay. I know what's going on is wrong, but you have to know how to handle yourself, control your emotions. We know, we understand and we see y'all, we know the pain, we know the hurt, but you just have to learn to control the emotions. So I worry about their emotions and them being able to control themselves the most when it comes to those situations.
It's a kind of please say yes. Yes, sir, no,
and
sir.
I know,
so come home tonight.
This is such a tragedy for so many reasons, for the bloodshed and the lives who have been lost, and for the fear that people have to live in today, and it's just unfortunate, and it's very, very sad, and I think that we all can figure out what our part needs to be in fixing the problems. What do you guys think everybody else could and should be doing right now to fix this problem?
I think the most important thing for me is just that people really educate themselves, because it's a lot that we see, it's a lot that we hear, but it's just important to really know what's going on and just stay on top of everything within. And unfortunately, it does break up. So the Black LGBTQ community, every community, the Black mom community, the Black dad community, brother, everybody know what's going on with everybody, and just keep encouraging each other to stay positive and try to, once again, make sure that self-care is important. Make sure you're taking care of your emotions about everything that's going on, because this is very traumatizing for so many people. It's really scary to think that you walk out your door and in a 5 minutes up the road your life could end. That is traumatizing. So it's just important for people also to take a break and just self-care. Just think about positive things as well, and think about how great and how positive the change that can come from this if we just continue to do things peacefully, but yet still fight as hard as we can to make sure that we do see change within this entire country, this entire world, because it is important for growth as far as that.
Yeah, I think for me, one way people can help, there's a lot of petitions out there. It takes 30 seconds to literally sign them. So signing petitions, like you said, educate. There's so many books. There's so many movies out right now, and everybody dealing with Corona. So I know we got time on our hands to watch these movies and read these books. And, you know, one thing that I always tell my friends is see my color and celebrate my color. So one thing we did this year was celebrate Juneteenth. So, like, celebrate the color you see. Don't be colorblind, because colorblind causes a whole nother issue. Because if you tell me you don't see my color, then it's kind of like you just don't see me at all. So it's just really important for people to see the color that we have in the world, and that's with everybody, and to celebrate it, because it is beautiful. And if we all look the same, then it would be a really boring world to live in. So just like she said, educate, sign petitions, celebrate color, and just also please watch how you say it and what you say, because this is a time where everybody, including Black people, are also learning more about their history, because our history was very sugar-coated for us in school. So we had to go and do our own research. So just kind of like when you're asking questions, be careful in the way you're asking them, and be slow to, and for people of color, I think should be slow to answer the questions instead of just like jumping down somebody's throat, because they are literally trying to learn along the side of us too. So
you're right, because they learn the same things that we learn, and we can't be angry at something that is taught. This is taught, and this is all learned behavior. So I just think it's important, like Girlie said, to make sure you don't be upset with people, but educate them and encourage them to continue to educate themselves. And just, I think that's what the most important thing is just to breathe and take it one step at a time. It's not going to happen overnight, as it's been going on for generations now. But if we want to see change, it's important that we make sure we continue, stay consistent.
Even celebrating the 4th yesterday was weird for me, because like it's a holiday that we weren't like necessarily free, but like my friend celebrated the 4th with me. I mean, the Juneteenth with me. So I was like, okay, well, I need to celebrate the 4th too. And it was kind of like, instead of celebrating it as America, it was like celebrating it for hope for the future. With Juneteenth, we celebrated it for hope for the future of the change that's going to happen. And so the 4th was even celebrating as hope for the future of what's going to happen past this year, because 2020 is eye-opening for everybody, and the future is going to be so bright and so different. So just continue celebrating and pushing for change for the future.
Yeah. And I like the way you said that, like, because I know I was here for the cancel July 4th, but you're right, like, it's not fair. Like, we maybe shouldn't just take away everything. Like, I mean, so,
but celebrate it.
Celebrate it, because it too is a part of history.
Yeah. So. And it is a part of our history. You know, we have Frederick Douglass and all those people who spoke and made their statements on the 4th of July when it happened. And so just understanding what he's saying and making sure that we are still celebrating something, because it is a part of history. But moving on forward, just changing history and stuff like that. So.
And one thing, you always got to respect everybody. That's a golden rule, is respect. So just think it's important that we continue to all respect each other, no matter what we look like, no matter where we come from. Respect is a big thing. If we can respect one another, we can more than likely grow together, because we can respect differences. We can respect everything about a person. So it's my opinion.
I think those are great, guys. I want to ask you, how do you think that we can all come together to support and celebrate the Black community? And I'm talking about Black people supporting each other, everybody else coming in and supporting the Black community. Like, what can we do to highlight and celebrate the Black community right now?
Well, we know Twitter is really big, and I think it's really cool to just make sure you're putting links to different Black shops and encouraging people to shop at Black shops and support Black artists, support whether it be music, painting, poetry, whatever it may be. Just continue to help raise awareness and get word out there. If you see someone has you see an Instagram page, you think it's really cool, I think it's important that you share it and say, hey, everybody, check this out, and just help these small Black businesses continue to build and grow, because we know our grandpa owns the Henry's Barbershop in the Woodlands, and I mean, he came here in, I believe, the 70s, and it wasn't really easy for a Black man coming to this white community to try to get cut hair. And we've seen in our lifetime the shop just take off and grow. So
great. I got all my page from Papa, okay?
So yeah, it's really important to just support and just raise awareness about these businesses, because I've come across so many businesses, new hairstylists, lash techs. There's so many people out there.
To eat. I love to eat. So
just share this. Keep sharing it. Facebook, social media gets everything. So I think that'll really help when it comes to spreading Black business.
Just like an unspoken thing, when you see like another one, you just kind of like just throw your head back and just acknowledge each other. And like, you know, if you see somebody in distress, you always go and help them. And we just continue to come together as one, because although we are Blacks, there are times when we're separated, because some people may think you too whitewashed, or some people might think you too Black or something like that. And so just like understanding that there's no such thing as a whitewashed Black and a too Black, that we're all just one, and we should just come together.
I think us just coming together and being strong together is important. Really, just so other people can, because when it's just kind of stereotype that like Black people kind of don't stick together, are broken up and all over the place. And I just think that if people could see us unite and work together and be strong together as a unit, they would respect that more, because it's easy to say, oh, they don't care about each other,
anyway.
So why should we care about them? They don't even care about their brother. So I think it's important that we just come together and be strong and unite together better within our own community, supporting each other.
I think that's exactly what we're seeing a lot of today. And that's what's so amazing about seeing people come together, is because they can prove their strength in numbers. And I think that we're really going to see a lot of the change that people have been fighting for in the past, and the vision that people always had for this country. I think that it's soon going to come into fruition, and we're all going to be a part of it. And it's an amazing feeling. It's an amazing thing. So what else would you guys like to close out with?
The only thing I always close out with is stand with us even when Black Lives Matter is no longer trending. So
I agree, and I just think that we should just continue to do this, Triston. This is also helping by getting people's stories out. I think that's important, just because people come from different, you can be Black and come from the Woodlands, you can be Black and come from like all over the world. So everybody's story is different. So I want to thank you for doing this, and I just encourage you to continue to do this. Doing a great job, and I appreciate you for letting us have a conversation with you today.
I'm so glad that you guys are here, and what we're sharing, we're so honest and so transparent, you know, and like you just said, there's so many Black stories, because that's what makes Black so beautiful. Is Black comes in so many different shades and from so many different corners of the world. You can be Black and you can come from South America, and you can be Black and you can come from Africa. You can be Black and, you know, you can come from parts of Europe. And so there's every Black experience, and especially in America, is going to be so unique and so different. And that's why it's important that we celebrate them all, you know, and we give everybody an opportunity to speak. So this is amazing, and I thank you guys so much for coming in and giving this perspective to my viewers.
Thank you.
All right, you guys.
All right. Bye. Talk to you later.